Pete and Joe, the real estate guys, with you today, and thank you for being with us. I'm a real estate broker with John L. Scott. Joe's a broker with RE/MAX Ideal Brokers, and together every Saturday we get together here with you on the Real Estate Show on KMED, talk about real estate issues, hoping to have you become, of course, a good real estate consumer. And, of course, we're here to help you as well.
And, you know, if it's outside of the show, you can always find our contact information at realestateshoworegon.com. And if you have any calls or questions, just give us a call. You want to get in touch with some of the people that have been on our show and get more information, or maybe get in touch with them for their wonderful services. We can help you out with that.
Well, you know, I was thinking when Laurel was on the schedule today here on right after Valentine's Day, you know, it's you start thinking rentals, you know. I mean, let's face it, that's such a big part of the real estate market that we have. And so, Laurel, welcome to the show. Nice to have you. She's the owner of Allcities Property Management. And, well, first of all, how are you doing? Nice to have you here.
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So what's happening right now? Here we are in February, mid-February.
I know.
The market, the pressure, last time we talked to you, there was... And the vacancy rate was low, and anyway. So tell us what's going on with the market condition around Jackson County today.
Well, we have a very low vacancy rate. It's in January it was 2.58.
2.58.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, tell me what that means.
What that means is that if you want to move, or you need to move, or you have to move, you may have difficulty depending on what you are looking for, finding a place to live that maybe be within your means.
Mm-hmm. Because
your finances.
Less than 3% of the rentals are available to rent right now.
Right, and houses are our biggest problem right now. We just don't have enough 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses.
Not enough.
Even 2 bedrooms in a den are 2-bedroom houses.
That you can make a 3rd bedroom out of, or convert something like that. You can't even do that.
Yeah, we've the typical 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Run around 600 to anywhere from $550 to $695, $725 if they're really nice units. Mm-hmm. There's you can still find some of those, okay, but houses,
that difficult.
you know one of the main reasons why? It's real simple.
Okay.
Some of my owners are selling those 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses that they've been holding on to because the market wouldn't bear the price they wanted, and the market's starting to come back, and they're putting those houses on the market to sell.
So those are some of the houses that we're seeing kind of coming 3 and 2 in the market.
That's right.
But they're taking them off the rental market, thus putting more pressure on what's happening with prices, I'm assuming.
Right.
With a 2.5% occupancy rate, and you get multiple people coming to the door to ask to rent, I'm assuming that rental rates around are going up?
Yes, houses are going up. The smaller, apartments and condos aren't going up as much percentage as the homes.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Well, let's bring in our third guest here today, our second guest, and that's Will Waite from Elite Maintenance, who's joined us for the first time. Will, first of all, nice to have you to the show.
Hi, Pete.
All right. You were listening to Laurel there, and obviously you're a maintenance guy. You work with her in the rental market, I'm sure. You agree with what she's saying there? What do you see?
Absolutely. Supply and demand. The 3-bedroom, 2 baths are in high demand, and you almost have to get to them and know that they're coming up while they're occupied. You got to get to them as soon as someone puts in a 30-day notice. You have to be there looking at that unit while it's occupied and put in your application.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, that sounds like.
And you know what else? I actually get them rented before I even advertise them.
Yeah. You don't even have to advertise. You didn't put them on Craigslist, do you?
No.
You just...
Well, some of them no, but right now I only have I have over 300 properties, and right now I only have 5 available rentals.
Wow.
5.
Have you ever been in that situation before? Have you ever been in that type of situation?
I'm very fortunate. Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
But this is very unusual. Yes, this is
that
unusual.
Sounds like about a 2.8 vacancy rate.
Yeah, it's about a 2.8. That's right.
Yep. With higher rental, with higher rates coming when you're cleaning somebody out. Are you
out there?
Are you seeing rates rise when someone moves out now? And
we are raising.
Owners are wanting to have higher.
Oh, absolutely. Well, their costs have gone up. I mean, let's look at life. I mean, you've got taxes have gone up. You've got insurance has gone up. There's a lot of things that have gone up, and the owners are saying, "Hey, we got to do something here. What can you do? I mean, you got to help me out here, Laurel. Mm-hmm. And so we look at it and we try to help them out. I mean,
Boy.
hey, they make more money, I make more money. It's you know, it's
Well,
okay
as Will
with me.
says, it is supply and demand,
It
isn't it?
is.
That makes it, because we were sitting here over these 4.5 years, and we've seen rental rates 5%, you know,
Yeah.
and rates were coming down, and now look at it's totally reversed that kind of situation there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that when you work with Will, Laurel, he's a maintenance guy, and you know I know that in the rental business,
Yes.
having a good maintenance person or a maintenance schedule or something to do with maintenance, as Joe said, it may be the difference of making a profit on your property or not. So tell me how you deal with maintenance and with Will, and kind of start us there, because that's such a big part of keeping your rental property functioning and profitable is maintenance on it. And we know that doesn't happen all the time.
Well, I run a business, and so first of all, I have to find maintenance people that are cost effective, who do their job properly, who will present a bill that is readable with documentation that I can use both for my owners and for court if I should have to
Sure.
to litigate, and also for a tenant who wants to know why they're getting charged.
Because you have to have it in three ways. I think I just
I
thought
do.
of that. You need the bill because for you as your business,
Right.
The landlord is going to want that bill, obviously.
The owner, yes.
I mean the owner,
Yeah.
and the renter
Yeah.
is going to. Okay.
Laurel's got to reconcile the account. The previous tenant wants to see what they're being charged for. If you had to go to court, the judge wants to know clearly who's at fault, how much it was. That's why when we submit an invoice to our clients, we do our best to itemize each task. We do our best to write in our point of view, you know, if it's a tenant charge or if it's just general wear and tear. There's a big difference there.
Big difference there.
We just try to supply our clients and Laurel with as much information as possible. Notes are really important, and documentation, yeah.
And I would guess too that 8 years of experience is gold, because that now you really know the drill.
Yeah.
You go into these properties, you know what to look for.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
You've seen the difference between wear and tear and tenant caused damage, and that reservoir of knowledge has got to be just really helpful.
And the other thing is every person that he works for has a different definition of what is to be done.
Expertise.
And so I made it really clear what I expect is usual and customary, and what I want him to do. Like, I always want him to check all the smoke alarms. We're putting the dates on when we put a new smoke alarm installation. I having him put a black marking pin on the outside, you know, like 2014. That way, because you have to replace them every 7 years.
Right.
It's hard to keep track of it. You don't know when you put it
500
out.
units, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 1,000
So,
smoke alarms
yeah.
at least, yeah.
So there's all these little things that are involved in maintaining a property, and I can rely. I have several people that I use. Will's one company. I use other people too. Sometimes he's not available. I have to have 2 or 3 people that I can call for an emergency.
Yeah, property managers have to have good, reliable contractors and vendors to take care of a multitude of property management services or property maintenance services.
And I only use licensed contractors. I will not use a wannabe.
Sure. No.
Legally, it's not. They have to have insurance and bonds
Well,
and
you'd
everything.
be in trouble with your landlord, with your owners and everything if you didn't.
Well, with the real estate board, everybody.
That would not. That wouldn't be very good. What are the types of maintenance things that come up that you generally would have to call Will for in his company? I mean, is there some predominant things, or is there?
I'm going to let Will answer that question, because he statistically knows. He works for several property management companies as well as many individuals.
Okay.
Well,
Go for it.
I think it comes in. I think the work orders come in 2 ways. One, it's either an occupied unit, and the tenants are calling in saying, "Hey, my faucet's leaking," or there's a leak in the roof, or there's some kind of damage. And then the other way it comes in is it's a turnover, and a turnover is someone has moved out, and now we have a certain amount of days. Usually, property managers want to see a full turnover done in 7 business days or less.
What's a full turnover?
Full turnover would be services like carpet cleaning, full interior cleaning of the unit, any maintenance, any painting, flooring, vinyl that may or may not need to be replaced. Locks changed. Yeah.
So and so that's what generally does. Do you do that generally on move outs like that? That kind of thing?
Absolutely.
You do.
And we schedule them one after another. So if Will's doing all of those things for me on one particular property, I just send him a work order that says do everything per our instructions that he knows. But I have a carpet cleaner that I prefer, not that his carpet cleaner's not, but I just have a relationship with a personal relationship. Yeah, a personal relationship. And so I always have the maintenance go in first. First, and then I follow with the cleaning. Rekey, of course, is the very first thing. You always want to rekey that unit and secure your property.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, the tenant that left may be really nice. You may have had a really great tenant, but that tenant may have given a key, or their child might have given a key to a friend who knows, that house is vacant, let's go party. So the first thing you need to do is
change the key.
Yeah.
Learn that from you, that's for sure. Yeah. Change the lock.
So the normal stance is maintenance first, then the maintenance, and I schedule the carpets and the cleaning after that. Carpets are the last. And then if there's a holdup, and let's say we decide to paint the whole unit, then I have to call the other people and set them out, 2 or 3 days. So it's schedule. You have to schedule.
Yeah, and I think that's one of our strongest points with the Elite Maintenance is instead of our clients having to call 7 different vendors to do the rekey, to do the maintenance, then calling your painter, then calling your carpet guy, then call your cleaner.
You'd be dialing all day, wouldn't you?
That keeps a property manager busy enough just
absolutely
managing their vendors and scheduling with their vendors. We really focus on communication, scheduling, and my business partner Derek says, one call does it all. You call us, we know the process. We've been doing it for going on 8 years.
They got it down pat.
We got it good, yeah. And we have a lot of great subcontractors and vendors that we use internally, electricians and such, that if it's beyond our licensing, then I can subcontract out professionals.
So
go ahead.
I should have called Will before I had to schedule the painters ahead of the drywall guys.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good move.
That wasn't. No, that wasn't very smart.
That's called a learning opportunity.
An expensive one at that.
See, you learn those things, don't you?
That's why I'm not a do-it-yourselfer.
No, that's why we hire him. But what you've done is create like a one call for landlords and special property managers or homeowners associations. Because you're right, I'd go nutty if I had to call the locksmith first, and you're managing 300 properties. You say. You couldn't keep it straight.
There's a chronology to all those
it.
people coming through and doing their work.
And you'd have 18 million bills. Well, then it'd cost you more because you'd be writing bills out. You'd be having 8 different bills from 10 different people. I can see a lot of problems with that. So it doesn't make sense to do it.
Well, it is part of doing business, but
not as efficient as it can be.
Yeah, efficiency is really not only a time saver, but it's a money saver.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
So we know about when you come in when someone moves out, and is there more of that than I think? Move outs?
Move outs, yes.
Really? More than you.
It's big. I mean, we probably do 4 turnovers a week, something like that. I mean, so we're constantly going.
Really?
But that's a big part of it. That and the call-ins that people just living there have the wear and tear issues that come up.
So the big issue is when the tenants call you, right? I mean, so a tenant can call Laurel. Is that right? Can a tenant call him?
No.
No.
Okay.
What do they do? What should a tenant do when
if a tenant has an emergency or needs something fixed, they call their landlord, their owner, or the property management company.
Okay.
And report the incident.
Okay.
Then we in turn create a work order and email it to our subcontractors to meet those needs. A tenant sometimes does call these subcontractors on their own. If that is the case, the subcontractors will say to the tenant,
call you.
You have to call your owner or property management company. Then they'll call me. Or if sometimes tenants will have a relationship with these maintenance people, and they call them to do things for them.
What happens if the tenant, calls and I've got a leaky thing and nobody responds, or they don't go, the roof is leaking, and I've got 3 or 4 days and I haven't heard from anybody and no one's responded. I'm going to go call you myself, or somebody else I'm going to go call. And I'm going to take care of it, and I'm going to submit it to you as a bill. Do you do that? Does that happen? I mean, not necessarily to you, I'm saying.
I was going to say, yes, it does, but that's not... that doesn't happen with
to
me.
You.
No.
I understand that because you're really good. But
Thank you.
But if I'm like the landlord, and I have 3 rentals, and and I don't even live here, and I call, and and I got a problem. I mean, renters are going to take care of those things, and I can assume it's going to be a real problem. Or what do you do, Will, when you get into that kind of situation?
Yeah, so sometimes tenants take it upon themselves, if they don't feel that they're being contacted soon enough, they'll take it upon themselves to try and call contractors. And when that happens, if I do get a call, I usually try to direct the tenant to the proper owner or property manager.
They have to do that before you can do the work.
Yeah, because it's a relationship between me and the property owner.
All right.
I can't authorize you to work on that property.
Yeah, I have to get authorization.
All right, we're going to have to continue this conversation. We're with Will Waite and Laurel Adams today. We're talking about rentals and maintenance. We're coming right back on the Real Estate Show after this. The Real Estate Show rolls on here on KMED this afternoon. Today, at February the 15th of 2010, Pete Belcastro and Joe Brett, the Real Estate Guys, with you today. Next week, the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District will be along. We'll update you there with Lori. And we had a TV show last Tuesday that Joe and I did, Real Estate Show there. We had Coach and Sandy from Mortgage Express on the first half hour with you, and second half hour, we talked with Randy White of JSWCD and about the OSU Extension Service Levy that's going to be on the ballot in May. That 5 cents a thousand to support all the what a great investment it is in our community with that. And on my $4,000 property tax bill, you know what I pay the JSWCD? That 5 cents. $13.75.
Yeah, mine's about $7.
I mean, that's
$7 for the year. Yeah.
At least we know the money's going to a good
use.
Oh
my goodness, I'll support that OSU extension without even blinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, today here on the Real Estate Show, we've been talking with Laurel Adams, the owner of Allcities Property Management and our resident expert at everything rentals in Jackson County, along with Will Waite, who's a maintenance fellow from Elite Maintenance, who works a lot with rentals and renters and property owners and managers. And well, we're talking all about these things. It seems like it's such a simple thing, buy a rental, have a rental.
I'm going to make some money.
I'm going to make some money. It's
They're going to help me pay my mortgage.
I get a renter and things like this. And then Laurel comes along, and tells us the truth. All the things you can do those things, right? You can still have that kind of thing, as you said.
Absolutely, yes.
But you better be smart along the way, or you're not going to have anything at the other end.
You're not going to come out where you had hoped to in the end.
Indeed, is that right? It's true, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you work with a lot of landlords, obviously, with owners of these places, and their goal is to make money on these things, right?
And I always remind new owners or old owners, people that have been with me for a while, that that when you give a tenant a house or apartment, you're basically saying to them, "I'm going to maintain everything I gave you." So if you have an old microwave in there that's sitting on the kitchen counter, guess what? You're going to have to buy them a new microwave if it breaks down. So the first thing I do is say, get rid of the microwave. If it's sitting on a kitchen counter. Old appliances, if appliance breaks down, you get to fix it. Washers and dryers, if they break down, the owner gets to fix it.
So if you leave those appliances in the rental,
yes,
you're responsible for them as the landlord.
For the maintenance of them. To make them functional and working.
They have to work. In other words, they have to work.
If they don't work and they can't be fixed, you get to buy a new one or a new used product to replace them.
And appliances, is that a big deal today? I mean,
it is.
Tell me what's okay.
I think it's about 3 years ago. What happened was all the repair parts went up by like 100%. So it was almost like you wondered if they'd all gotten together for a weekend and decided. So the replacement parts for a lot of these appliances have gone sky high.
So they're not worth the replace.
as well as what they've done is discontinue making parts for some of these older appliances, which, by the way, work better than some of the new ones.
Yeah.
So now I'm running into a situation where I have these wonderful old appliances that work great, cannot get parts.
Can't get parts.
And the appliance guy goes out and says, I can't fix this.
Can't.
You have to get a new one. So then the question is, do I buy a new one or do I buy a new used one?
Okay. Wow.
So I've been kind of heading towards buying the new one.
I would think so too.
Because
Yeah.
I've always shopped the used appliance places, okay? So I know what the prices are, and what I'm seeing for $250 or $150 for like a stove, I'm going to buy almost the same stove. Instead of $150, I can spend $225 and get a brand new one. I'm thinking I'd rather go there.
And get a warranty too, if you wanted to as well.
And then the new appliance people are telling me that that's all crap too, that they're not going to last very long, that they just are not making things like they used to. So this is what I'm hearing. This is the rumor, and everybody, you better just get used to it because there's no way around it.
Do you encourage your landlords or your owners to, so you don't encourage them to provide a lot of extra kind of appliances then? I mean, washers and dryers and things like that you really don't need then.
Well, it's usual and customary in our area, depending on the rental and where it is and the price. There's certain things that are usual and customary to include. You can't do a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment with no refrigerator.
Right.
I mean, it's not usual and customary. And renters are not going to rent your 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $650 without a washer dryer, probably.
Okay.
You're going to have to drop your price $20 or $30. So it's up to you.
770-5633 is our number during our live show this morning here on KMED, 770-5633. If you have a question for Laurel or Will, now's the good time to do that. Maintenance, I said, Will, you must see the same thing. I mean, maintenance in these kinds of things it can take a toll for a landlord or the owner if they're not smart and taking care of them. Do you see landlords really taking care of their places in your experience, or are they? Yeah. I'm sure there's some bad landlords and like everything.
Yeah, if they're not calling Will, they might not be taking care of
it. Tell me what you see out there.
Landlords, for the most part, are protecting their investment. I mean, that's what they got it for.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as appliances, it's a balance between, do you buy refurbished or you buy new? You spend a little extra money, you have a little more security. Appliance parts, man, it's expensive. Crisper
Really?
Drawers or even the bars that hold in your butter or something. It's like $30 for a bar or something. So the parts, the parts can get out of control. Sometimes if the tenant's been real rough on your appliance and it's an older appliance, it's not even worth buying all the refurbished parts or the old manufacturer parts. It's almost a suggestion, say, hey, make an investment of $100 and let's get a new one. And once you compare the price between repairing and just buying a new, just make the investment.
Which appliance breaks down the most?
Oh, good question. Appliance.
Dishwashers.
Dishwashers. I was going to think dishwashers. Okay.
And and a lot of it is, and another interesting thing about dishwashers is half of the dishwashers don't work unless you use Cascade detergent. Honest to God.
Really?
It's a conspiracy.
Really?
It is. I'm serious. I get these who say, my dishes are dirty. And there's a whole bunch of them that you only will clean dishes with Cascade detergent.
How often, Will, you tell a landlord you're doing the maintenance, or you tell someone like Laurel who's hired you, how often should you replace the carpets in a rental? How often should I paint it? Those kinds of things. Just give advice to people who've got rentals or whatever. How often do you recommend that?
A really great tip I tell a lot of owners is touch-up paint. You can do touch-up paint in a unit for a fraction of the cost, and your units, once they do a turnover, it looks brand new again. So you spend a very minimal amount in touch-up paint, which we provide. We get professional color matches, versus doing a full paint time and time again. You're saving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars doing some touch-up regularly and maintaining it, than waiting 7 years or so, or with a bad tenant, you're repainting 5 times a year. Yeah. I mean, who knows? But yeah, the touch-up paint is really it's really important, I think, on turnovers.
Mm-hmm. And what about carpets?
Carpets, usually you can get about 10 years out of carpet, 7 to 10 years. You have the walkways and the pathways that get more abuse than, your corners and living rooms that are never, trampled on. But, in some carpets, you can replace rooms. And the carpet guys that are installing carpet nowadays, they can find, if they can't find an exact match, they can find something close. So owners have the option. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They can replace a hallway. They can replace just a bedroom, and they don't have to take on the big cost of replacing the entire carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, during the break, we'd mentioned that had a bunch of freezing pipes back in that bitter cold spell.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And I know a number of people were affected by that and had, it's a lot to get people out. You don't have an army of people who can go take care of those problems. How do you deal with a catastrophic situation like that?
I have to butt in there because we're going to have a break coming up here. That's a good topic there about the freeze and what happened during the freeze, because it obviously played a big role, and I bet you both were really busy during that freeze.
Yes,
I can't even imagine. Stories everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's on the Real Estate Show here today. We're talking with Will Waite from Elite Maintenance and Laurel Adams, our resident expert from Allcities Property Management, here on the Real Estate Show. This show repeats at 2 o'clock this afternoon here on KMED, and all of our shows are available at realestateshowOregon.com. Don't you dare go away. We're coming right back right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KMED. Our final segment here today on February the 15th, 2010. Next week, the Jackson Soil Water Conservation District will be in with Lori Tella. We'll update you on some of their activities going on around. Lots of things.
Open house coming up for JSWCD.
The big open house coming up for them. Yeah, lots of good things happening around. Today, we're at the Real Estate Show with Laurel Adams. She is the owner and proprietor of Allcities Property Management. You can check her website out at allcitiesprop.com. Not going to find a whole lot there in terms of available rentals, but just a few of them, Laurel. I mean, I hear you say you got 300 rentals, only got 5 available properties.
I have more than 300.
Jeez, I mean, how do you?
Yeah.
That's a low rate of a low vacancy
I'm telling you,
rate.
she's probably got applications for 2 of them now by the time the show's over.
By the time she's done, those will be gone today. We're also with Will Waite, who's an expert from Elite Maintenance, and I love your entrepreneur. Will's a young guy, Joe, and we've met him just here today. And the story of starting his business, I mean, from the bottom up, I admire that very much.
Interrupted your college career. You're doing okay.
Doing all right. Okay, we got to, but this segment goes so fast. But what happened during that freeze that we had here? We heard stories, so many stories. So, Will, what was your experience with that, and what should people learn? What should we learn from the big freezes? It'll happen again.
Absolutely. There's a few things for owners to take away, I think, from this learning experience. Insulate pipes, exterior especially. Don't wait for winter. Insulate pipes now. Another big one would be if your home goes vacant, let's keep the heat on. Let's maintain 55 degrees, let's say, inside the home. And I know homeowners don't want to do it sometimes because they don't want to put out the utility bill, but it's going to be well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be 2 of the biggest things.
Laura, what happened? Did you have just tons of problems? Is that what everyone experienced during this?
Yes, and I have a couple of very loyal subcontractors that were available for me and really just jumped right in to help me. Mm-hmm. That's what comes from creating loyal help,
sure.
and good help.
Sure.
But the thing that I think people have to understand is when we have a crisis like this, and this was a crisis, I had 2 homes that had flooded water throughout the entire house. And the restoration companies, which you have to hire because of their insurance claims, correct?
Okay.
So you have to have an insurance, what's the word? Insurance documented or insurance approved. That's the word.
Okay.
Insurance approved restoration company.
Oh, okay.
Do the
to
work.
Be able to do the work. Yes.
To access the house and to assess the damages for the insurance company. So they were so backed up that I was told it would be days before they would even get out. Number one, they were bringing in equipment to start the drying of the walls and the floors, etc. And their water extraction machines were all being used. So they were bringing in equipment from other parts of the country. They were flying it in literally
Jeez.
and trucking in equipment and people to help. And I had one house with $48,000 worth of damage, and
Whoa.
the water sat in that house for 2 full days and nights, an inch thick.
Okay,
So,
wow.
I mean, you can only imagine how the drywall sopped up that water.
Yep.
I mean, I did have the carpet extractor go. Excuse me. My carpet man did go and help me out, and he used his equipment to try to extract as much water as he could, and he spent hours. But it
Days.
just kept showing up. I mean,
Right.
because it was in the walls, it just kept seeping and seeping. It was a mess.
It's everywhere. Same thing. You saw these same things, didn't you, there during that time?
Yeah, our equipment was loaned out to other professionals. We were just there to support and do as much as we could. I mean, plumbers, extraction service guys, they were working 18 hours a day, and
Yeah, they were.
we're no stranger to that. We're doing everything we can for owners, and we're doing everything for tenants.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
What a mess
more,
that was.
Just
huh?
more homes than there are people and equipment to be
There
able
were,
to keep
yeah.
up with and fix.
Well, and then we had this low vacancy rate, right? So we had quite a number of individuals that had to find housing.
Temporary housing.
Temporary
Okay,
housing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it was right near Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It really was.
Christmas trees. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys, it was a mess.
It
Christmas
really was.
packages.
All right. Well, we learned. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll happen again. Well, do you offer? Does your company offer if I'm an owner, if I'm a renter, I'm a landlord? Can I hire your company or something to take care of the maintenance for me? I mean, on a preventative kind of schedule, that I don't have to worry about it. Is that available? I don't even know.
Yes, absolutely. We can take care of scheduled maintenance, routine maintenance. I basically can work with you, the owner, directly, or the property management company directly, and we can set up a scheduled maintenance, air filters, cleaning gutters. We can do that.
Well, it seems like landlords, Laurel, should do this, because if you're not active, or you're a out of town landlord, it seems like, because you want to keep your property as best you can. I get really mad at slumlords, so people who don't do anything with their properties. I think that's just horrible. But a smart investor is going to be one who takes care of their property and uses people like you guys to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that owners often forget is there is wear and tear.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of my owners will get upset because we have to replace carpet or we have to paint the whole house. Well, why didn't you get better tenants? Might be a question. And it's like, wait a minute, this is normal wear. Normal wear and tear.
What percentage of the rent should a landlord keep maybe set aside for maintenance? Is there a figure that someone?
No. But you know how when the roof was last done, right?
Yeah.
And when you had the biggies are roofs, paint, carpet,
Roofs, paint, carpet. Okay.
and then appliances. Plumbing. Another biggie is kitchen faucets, leaking
Water
faucets.
heaters.
Water heaters. Sure.
10
water
years, 7
heaters.
years on
Yeah.
a water heater. It's
Yeah,
good to go.
7 yeah.
Furnaces.
For heating and electrical. That when I have to call an owner and say you need a new heating system,
Yeah.
a new furnace.
Oh, I bet there's.
That's huge. That's what,
Yeah.
2,000 ish,
Yeah.
give or take.
At a minimum. There you do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And you know what? You have to do it now. The tenant's not going to go, oh, well, okay, we'll wait till you have it in your budget 2 months from now.
And
No.
it doesn't
No,
work that way,
no.
does it? Well, how can people get a hold of you if they need to?
You can contact us at phone numbers area code 541-227-9744. We work with property managers, owners, investors. You can also email us at elitemaintenance@msn.com.
All right, nice to have you here.
Good job,
We'll have you
Thank
back.
you.
We'll see you again
Appreciate
as well. Joe, another day is gone. We'll see you next Saturday here on the Real Estate Show. God bless everybody.